In this session, we will discuss the adiabatic process in a bit detail. Already we have defined an adiabatic process as the one in which no heat enters or leaves the system. And the meaning of the word adiabatic is impassible. Impassible. And it was derived from the Greek word, adiabate. Now, an adiabatic condition can be achieved in two different ways. The first method of achieving an adiabatic condition is by thermally insulating a system from its surroundings. If you are able to completely insulate a system from its surrounding by a proper boundary, then the possibility of heat entering the system or leaving the system can be avoided. So in the diagram shown here, you can see the first figure in which we have got a cylinder with an insulating boundary. You consider the piston also to be made up of some insulating material, and our system is some sort of an ideal gas, for example, taken inside the cylinder. To begin with, the system has got a particular value of volume, you say VI, a particular value of pressure, say PI, VI, PI, and a definite value of temperature, call it as TI. So this denotes the macro state of the system to begin with. Now, on the second figure, you can see the piston has been moved down by a certain distance. Means we say the system is getting compressed because the volume is reducing. And you will see in a process which is adiabatic, as the volume has reduced, the pressure will be getting increased, and as well as the temperature also gets increased. So the thing that you have to keep in mind whenever you deal with an adiabatic process is that all the three fundamental variables, namely the pressure, the volume, and the temperature, may undergo change. This is something different from the other three processes that we have already discussed, which are named as isothermal, isobaric, and isochoric process. All those three processes, the name itself starts with the prefix iso, which tells that some of these fundamental parameter is remaining constant. Unlike those processes, adiabatic process involves a simultaneous change in all the three thermodynamic variables, the pressure, volume, and the temperature. That is one of the important points that you have to keep in mind. So in the example here, you can see the volume has reduced, the pressure has got increased, and the temperature also has got increased. Why the temperature has increased, we will be able to see or justify when we discuss the first law of thermodynamics later. Try to understand it and try to connect it with the work done by the external agency. Now, the PV diagram corresponding to the process of compression, we call this type of compression as adiabatic compression because the walls are insulating. This process can be represented by the graph shown here on the right. So this is the graph which represents an adiabatic compression. We can see the initial condition of the system which we have represented by using the macro state Pi, Vi, Ti is this point. So this point in the PV diagram represents the initial equilibrium state, and the final equilibrium state achieved by the system is represented by this particular point Pf, Vf, Tf. Since it is a PV diagram, we are not able to represent the temperature here. It's only a plane, and you have got 3 parameters. In a plane, you will be able to represent only 2 points. Anyway, you understand that the temperature here is Ti given, and the temperature here is given as Tf. So now from the diagram you can see that the arrow has been given in a particular direction, and the direction of the arrow shows the direction of the process. Now you can see why it is a compression, because the initial volume is Vi here, this is the initial volume, and this is the final volume Vf. So certainly Vi is greater than Vf, or the final volume is less than initial volume. Hence we call the process as a compression. It is known as adiabatic because during the process no heat is entering or leaving the system. Now coming to the third figure above, we can see once again the system is already in a compressed state, you say. So this is the initial volume, which is a lesser volume. So there will be a certain definite value of pressure and a particular value of temperature. Now suppose the gas undergoes some sort of an expansion. You know, when expansion happens, the volume has got increased. So the fourth figure shows the volume increased. So this is the final volume Vf. Now what happens to the pressure? You can see the pressure would have got reduced, and the temperature also would have got reduced as the process is adiabatic. Why the temperature have got reduced? You can think in terms of the first law of thermodynamics, which we will do later. Now this process represented from the third figure to the fourth figure denotes an adiabatic expansion, and the adiabatic expansion process has been shown in this particular graph. And you can see in the graph we initially started with low volume and high pressure, low volume and high pressure having some value of initial temperature. Now as a result of the expansion process, you can see the pressure have got reduced, the volume has got increased, hence we named it as expansion, and the temperature has also got changed from Ti, the initial temperature, to the final temperature Tf. Now we will be able to see that this Tf will be lesser than the Ti because the system has undergone an adiabatic expansion. Now we have already seen the equation of state for an ideal gas undergoing isothermal process, isobaric and isochoric processes. Here you can see that in the case of an adiabatic process, there are 3 different forms of the equation of state, and they are PV raised to gamma equal to a constant. It can be alternatively written as TV raised to gamma minus 1 equal to a constant, or in terms of the temperature and pressure of the system, it can be written as the T raised to gamma P raised to 1 minus gamma equal to a constant. And hope you remember, the gamma used in this equation represents the ratio of heat capacities at constant pressure and constant volume. So gamma equal to Cp by Cv. Remember, the value of gamma depends upon the nature of the system, means the gas in our case. For monoatomic, diatomic and triatomic gases, the value of gamma is different. We'll see those values in the coming sessions. Hope you have got an introduction to the case of an adiabatic process now. Now we will go to some details of adiabatic process. I told you one of the way in which you can obtain adiabatic condition for a system is by thermally insulating the system from its surroundings. That is what we have seen in the previous slide, where we use the container to be having an insulating wall. In actual practice, you can make almost an insulation by using certain materials which are having low thermal conductivity, very low thermal conductivity, such as some styrofoam, etc. Now, another way in which you can obtain an adiabatic process is by performing the process so rapidly such that heat has no time to enter or leave the system. So the first method already have mentioned is by insulating the system. So that is one of the ways in which you can obtain or you can realize an adiabatic process, by insulating the system. From where? From the surroundings, that is understood. By insulating the system from the surroundings. Another way to make an adiabatic process happen is just by performing the process process means it can be a compression or it can be an expansion, quick or sudden, by performing the process. And how the second method will ensure that the process is adiabatic? So for that you consider the figure given here. So once again I have with me a system of gas enclosed in a cylinder fitted with a movable piston. Now I don't have any constraint that the walls of the cylinder is insulating. Even if the walls of the cylinder is made up of some metal, you say, as usual, that is a reality usually, you can see that if you press the piston all of a sudden, means you are doing a very quick process, you are doing work on the system has now undergone a sort of compression. Heat will be generated inside the system and it will result in a sudden increase in the temperature of the system. The reason is that the process being very quick, the heat generated inside the system will not get enough time to escape the system. So the heat generated inside the system will not get enough time to escape outside. So what will happen? The process will result in a change in the volume. It will result, of course, in a change in the pressure, and it will also result in a change in the temperature. So you can see whenever all the three variables, pressure, volume and temperature of a system changes as a result of a process, we will name that process as adiabatic. So this is not isothermal, this is not isobaric, it's not isochoric, but instead we will categorize this particular process as what? Adiabatic. So you can conclude in this way. Even if the system walls are not insulating, the process can become adiabatic if the process is a sudden or a quick process. So generally we say that sudden process or thermodynamic process are generally classified as an adiabatic process. Now let us have some very common examples of adiabatic processes. So one way of making an example or identifying an example of adiabatic process is to check whether the system has got an insulating wall. And other one is to check whether the process has happened quickly or suddenly. So a very celebrated example of adiabatic process is the sudden bursting of a tire. You can see that the bursting of the tire happens so rapidly that the heat generated will not have time to enter the system, or you can say get out of the system. So the process is taken to be an adiabatic process. I hope that you will recall one of the examples of adiabatic process from your basic mechanics. Hope you remember the propagation of sound through air, which we learned while learning waves. So historically, Newton had derived an expression for the velocity of sound in air, and unfortunately the result obtained by him was not matching with the experimental value of the velocity of sound in air. And you know that Newton had made a big mistake in assuming the nature of sound propagation. Newton assumed that sound propagation through air is an isothermal process. Sound propagation through air was assumed to be an isothermal process, and he made the calculations accordingly, and he reached finally into a wrong equation for the velocity of sound in air. And you know that later it was corrected by another scientist, Laplace. Hope you remember these things when what you learned in your waves. Laplace, who made a correction by bringing in the idea of adiabatic process. Laplace argued that sound propagation through air is not an isothermal process but an adiabatic. And what was the logic that he had? He understood that air is a very poor conductor of heat, and the compressions and rarefactions happening in the air during the passage of sound wave occur so fast that the heat generated in the regions of compression will not get enough time to conduct to the regions of rarefaction. So the temperature in the regions of compression would have got increased, and the temperature in the regions of rarefaction will be reduced. So you cannot treat the sound propagation in air to be happening at the same or constant temperature. So it is not isothermal. Instead, the process is adiabatic. And this one is what is known as the Laplace correction. And finally, Laplace could obtain an equation for the velocity of sound in air, which it was something like V equal root of gamma p by rho. V equal root of gamma p by rho, where you see this gamma appearing again, and the presence of gamma in such equations indicates that the process is adiabatic, because already we have seen adiabatic processes are connected by pressure, volume, temperature relationships connected by gamma, the ratio of specific heats. So that is an example of adiabatic process. So you can at least remember one or two examples of adiabatic process in nature. One is the sudden bursting of a tire, and other one is propagation of sound through air. Both of these are some classical examples of adiabatic process. We will discuss about adiabatic process properties in detail and more examples of the process in the next session. Thank you.